Hey, what's going on, listeners out there? This is Kyler Barnett.
And Hunter Donelson.
And we're here to talk to you guys, give a little podcast about NCAA and the March Madness tournament that's coming up this month. So let's get right to it. We'll just go down the bracket a little bit. Just hit some of the games that maybe are going to be pretty popular. Obviously, Duke. I'm pretty sure Vegas has them as the favorites to win the championship. Not much of a secret. They've been the most dominant team down the stretch throughout the whole season. They had that spurt where they went without Zion and struged a little bit. But,
a couple games.
Zion's back, and he looks better than ever. So, really, I don't know. Out of the first two rounds, I don't know if Duke's going to have a lot of scares. They are tough as could be. They got those freshmen with Barrett. Between Barrett, Williamson, and
Cam Reddish.
Yeah, Cam Reddish, and then Tyus Jones' brother. Or Tyus Jones and, Trey Jones' brother. No,
Trey Jones.
No, it's Trey Jones. It's Tyus Jones' brother. That's right. I was trying to think about that. But, they're loaded. They're always loaded. It's not much of a secret. So they're going to be good. I don't see a 16 seed like North Dakota State or whoever NCC is. Not even sure who that is.
North Carolina Central.
Yeah, don't think they're going to get Duke out of here early. So, I think a real popular upset I've heard a lot of people talk about, Mississippi State and Liberty. That's been real popular. Liberty's had some decent showings in the tournaments I think they've been to the tournament and within the last couple years, and they put on a pretty good showing. I think they'll be a tough team. Those 12-5 games, 12 seed versus 5 seed, those are always real popular upset games. So wouldn't surprise me to see something like that come out.
Virginia Tech, St. Louis. I think it could be close, but
I don't know. I think Virginia Tech's somebody that's been kind of hot down the stretch. And, at the beginning of the year, they weren't necessarily someone that were on a lot of people's radars. But, they've earned that 4 seed, so they're there for a reason. I don't see anything crazy going on there. No. Maryland's just somebody who usually is like a top 4 seed every year. It seems like anyway, at least back when they used to have who is that guy they had? Mello Trimble.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't heard much about him this year. I don't know.
I haven't either.
So I think that game's just kind of a toss-up, to be honest. I get it's a 6 seed versus an 11, and especially with Belmont. But the thing you got to take into account is they're looking at a play-in opponent. So you're either going Belmont or Temple, and they're playing in. One of those teams will play to get into that game.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Belmont in there.
Well, and I think what happens is like teams who get the play-in games oftentimes are overlooked a lot. But to me, I think the play-in games can be very beneficial. You play hard, you get a good play-in game, and you win. I see that as a big momentum boost going into the first round. Essentially, they've played a game before everybody else in the tournament has. So, you're looking at a big, honestly, I see it as kind of an advantage to a degree. I think it gets a lot of momentum going with a lot of teams. So that's something to look out for. LSU is a team who at the beginning of the year, again, wasn't really on anybody's radar, but, man, they have looked great down the stretch. And the last couple games, they've ran into a couple snags.
Yeah.
But, honestly, the last half of the season, they have been tough as nails, playing in a pretty good conference, the SEC, going against, Auburn, who's been playing really good basketball lately, and then obviously Kentucky's in the mix. So, they come out of a pretty good conference, and they've played really well. They've earned that 3 seed, so I don't see anything crazy going on with Yale there.
Yeah, no.
Let's finish up this East region. Louisville and Minnesota, I don't know. Louisville's got to be kind of discombobulated as a team this season. This is the first year without Patino.
Yeah, I haven't really heard much about Minnesota either.
Yeah, so honestly, the 7 and 10 games, those can be just as fluky as it gets because a lot of times the 10 seed can be a lot better than the 7 seed, and it's just there's no telling, honestly. 7 and 10s are a lot. They're toss-ups, to be honest. Michigan State has looked really good throughout the year. They lost to Kansas at the beginning of the year, didn't they? I think they did. And the Champions Classic, I'm pretty sure that's who they got, and I think they lost. But Michigan State's been a team that's looked really consistent throughout the year. Had a couple, I can't remember if they beat Michigan every time this year.
Yeah, they were 3-0 against
Michigan. Yeah, so they're a good team. They've looked really great down the stretch, especially had a great tournament, a Big Ten tournament.
Yeah.
So I see them. Shoot. in March you never know, but I mean Duke and Michigan State are
Elite,
far
elite.
ahead of the pack in my opinion, and I mean
It looks like
LSU is strong, but I mean you don't see LSU and Michigan State until you're in the Elite Eight.
Yeah,
that is the Elite Eight, right? No, that's the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't know. I mean I think if you get there, I still take. I think Michigan State's got a chance to go a long way in this tournament. They've got so much star power with Cassius Winston and. Nasir Little's on that team, right? I'm not confused. I think he is.
Nasir Little.
I'm pretty sure. Either way, I'm kind of losing it here, but Cassius Winston's good enough to carry any team just about.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best players in college basketball right now, and he's playing out of his mind.
Yeah,
so.
and I'd probably say that's. I mean, I don't want to disrespect any teams over there, but it's probably the weakest region of all of them.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, outside of those top 3 seeds, I think any one of those teams could lose on a given night.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't feel like there's anybody dominating in I don't feel like there's any. The Duke and Michigan State are probably the two most dominant teams in this bracket. So
yeah.
Michigan State had a real conversation for a 1 seed, but. I don't know. We'll cut across. Instead of going to the west, we'll go to the south here. Virginia coming on. I mean, I'd like to say, hey, 1 seed, no way they lose, but they proved us all wrong last year. I had Virginia in the Natty last year, and then
I did too, actually.
UMBC comes along and becomes the hottest Twitter account in all of basketball. So, I don't know. I don't think there's much to worry about. I think that's probably something that doesn't happen for quite some time. But I say that. We'll never know. But I would say Virginia's a pretty good bet.
Yeah.
And then next you got Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Gosh, Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's kind of a toss-up.
I mean, this is 2 years in a row that Oklahoma has not been good and made the tournament.
I mean, really think
they had Trae Young last year, but they were bad last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they did not win many games last year, and Trae Young's just star power got them into the tournament anyway. So
I don't think they've really had a great team since Buddy Hield. After that, they kind of they went from a 2 seed, and the next year they were 8 or 9.
I would agree. I'm not even sure that they belong in this tournament, to tell you the truth.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got some decent wins, but I mean, I don't know. It's just they're so inconsistent, and I'm not looking at the non-conference strength of schedule stuff right now, so I don't really know. They might have had a really tough schedule and had some really good wins against some good teams, but man, they have not looked good this year. I mean, I've watched them from time to time, because I'm a big KU fan, so I mean, I watched the Big 12. I mean, they just haven't looked very good, and they look very inconsistent. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they've gotten away with 2 very lucky selections, especially a 9 seed. I don't know. Just kind of Ole Miss, too. That's who Oklahoma's playing. I mean,
I
don't really keep up a whole lot, but I mean, I think 8, like we said in the last bracket or the last region. I mean, 8 and 9s, those can be any which way. Same thing, 7 and 10s. I mean, you just never know. One interesting thing to look at is the 5 and 12 game, Wisconsin and Oregon.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wisconsin's got some guys on there, but I really don't know, man. I think, I don't know, Oregon as a 12 seed, I mean, you don't see a lot of Power 5 teams get seeded that low. I mean, it happens, obviously.
They just barely.
But a team like Oregon, who was literally in the Final Four, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, back Frank Mason's senior year, and beat Kansas in the sprint.
Jordan Bell.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy. So, now Kansas State, I can't wait to talk about this one. So, Kansas State is a 4 seed, along with Kansas, who's in the Midwest region as a 4 seed. So K-State won the Big 12, broke KU's streak, but doesn't end up in the Midwest playing at Sprint in the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, if they make it that far, obviously. So I know K-State fans are pretty bitter about that because now they got to play UC Irvine in California, and UC Irvine is a California school. So they're essentially going to be playing a road game.
And they're playing in San Jose.
Yeah, so they'll be playing a road game essessentially, but I don't know. K-State might not be playing with Dean Wade. It looks like he might not be playing. So, I'd like to say that that's enough to maybe even chalk it up to a first-round upset. But they went to the Elite 8 last year without Dean Wade. I mean, he was hurt last year, and they took him to the Elite 8. And there have been times this year where Barry Brown has just absolutely dominated games and looked like one of the best players in all the nation. I mean, truthfully, against Kansas at Bramlage, he looked insane.
Yeah.
So, I think, Dean Wade being without him is going to suck, but They've done it without him. They did it without him last year. So if they can fight long enough to get him back, you're looking at a tough Kansas State team that you don't want to see, outside of the first couple weekends,
Yeah.
Villanova, 6 seed, man. Villanova has looked pretty. They looked really bad at the beginning of the season. If we're just being honest,
they got blown out by Michigan.
And they've got Javon Quinterly, who I don't know if anything's changed, but I know at the beginning of the year he was not getting many minutes. He was on social media talking trash.
Yeah.
I can't imagine their team morale and chemistry is too good on that team. And in March, that's essential. Forget what your record is. Forget how good you've been up to this point. If you guys aren't bonded as a team, you guys aren't playing as brothers, you're not going to go far in March. Because, honestly, you're going to have your will tested every game. There is not an easy game in March. There really isn't. It doesn't matter if it's the 1 versus the 16 or if it's Villanova the 6 and St. Mary's the 11.
Yeah.
There's no telling. And I believe
St. Mary's, I think
they were ranked in the preseason, right?
Yeah,
they were ranked. So,
definitely.
Obviously things didn't go as well as they were hoping for from the beginning of the year. But, ranked teams at the beginning of the year who fall off kind of tend to bring it up in March. And, there's no telling. So, I don't know.
But then you have St. Mary's with that upset against Gonzaga in their conference championship.
Yeah, so, they're riding high against Villanova, especially a dismantled Villanova team like that. This isn't the reigning champion Villanova. They are reigning champions, but this isn't anywhere near the team from last year. So if I'm St. Mary's, I'm licking my chops at a shot for Villanova. Yeah. So keep an eye on that one. Number 3, Purdue. I'm not going to lie. I can't think of a team from Purdue that didn't have Caleb Swanigan on it. So
I can't.
I'm going to keep it real. I don't understand how they're a 3 seed. I'm sure they earned it again,
it has to be strength of schedule.
Yeah, it's got to be. They came out of the Big Ten, so, I guess you're rocking with Michigan State and Michigan, at least, and then Wisconsin and Indiana both.
Yeah.
So, they might have some good wins. I don't know. I would say they're a pretty safe pick to beat Old Dominion.
Yeah. Cincinnati, Iowa. Cincinnati, they started out pretty hot.
Yeah, I think
they were top 5
they were ranked at one point.
Yeah.
So, a 7 seed for them. I'm sure they're enjoying that. A decent. I see them maybe having a chance to make a pretty deep run. They'll get a tough Tennessee squad in the second round, but Tennessee took an early exit in the SEC tournament, right? They didn't make the championship.
They lost to Kentucky in the semifinals.
Yeah, Kentucky is a good team, so you can't chalk it up to like an upset in the tournament or anything like in the SEC tournament that is. But still they've taken some week. They're gonna have to cut they'll have been without a basketball game in a week at least. So and so I don't know. Tennessee's been kind of streaky at times. They went on that run. They lost Kansas early in the year, and then they went on that run where they ended up as the number 1 team in the nation for a couple weeks straight, I believe, or at least 1 week for sure. So I don't know. I think they're a good team, but I don't know. Cincinnati catches fire. They keep some momentum. They find that, talent that had them as a top 25 team earlier in the year. No telling. We'll go down to the Midwest now. So North Carolina, Iona, 1 seed. Chalk it up. North Carolina's moving on. No point in really talking about it. It doesn't happen. It's going to have to be a fluke. Probably another 45 years before we see another 16 beat a 1. So that's my opinion on it anyway. Utah State, Washington. Washington's just one of those sneaky teams, man. It seems like every year they just barely scratch their way into the tournament. They're a 9 seed, so obviously not too terrible, but 9 seed's not great.
They were number 1 in the Pac-12, but then they lost to Oregon in the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah. I think Washington's going to be a team, a 9 seed. I'm sure they're a little bitter because they're probably going to end up facing off if they win against Utah State, against number 1 seed. But, I think they're a lot better team than a 9 seed shows. So I think they got, I think they get out of that first game. But I don't know. North Carolina's tough this year. Luke May's a good player, good senior leader. I think he's a senior anyway.
Yeah.
And then, they're a blue blood, so they're going to have their guys. They're going to dominate. So I don't know. I don't see a whole lot going on between now and then. So then Auburn, Auburn comes in at a 5 seed against New Mexico State. See, and these 5 and 12s, every year it seems like one team that's a 5 seed goes down to a 12.
Yeah.
And it seems like it happens all the time. I believe, wasn't Middle Tennessee the 12 seed when they won a couple years ago? I think
they were. And Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, so I mean, at 12 and 5 seem to happen a lot. Auburn's been playing some great basketball. They won. Did they win the SEC tournament?
Yeah.
They had a good show. I don't know. I know they had a good showing at least in the SEC tournament.
They went to the SEC championship. I know that.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, Bruce Pearl's gonna have his squad feeling right by the time these games come around. So I think that's a good start. Kansas and Southeastern. Now this one, as a KU fan, I'm worried. We got lucky with a 4 seed because we had the number 1 strength of schedule in the whole nation, but. Man, Northeastern's got 3 dudes shooting 40% from 3.
Yeah, and our perimeter team.
When we play Tech, when we play Texas Tech, and when we play teams that can shoot the lights out, they have just dominated.
State,
they have just dominated us. So, I mean,
yeah,
it worries me. I'm hoping they pull it out, and then the problem is like a 4 seed, you end up against Auburn in the next round if they win. I mean, I don't know if I want much to do with that if I'm as a Kansas fan, but hopefully things work out. We're running out of time here, so let's just give our pick for the who's going to win. I mean, what do you got? Who you got taking it all, Hunter?
I got Michigan State with the upset over Duke in the Elite Eight, and beating Gonzaga and North Carolina in the championship.
I just want to take this second to say I think Gonzaga is the biggest hoax in all of college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
They play in a weak-ass conference. Oopsies. They play in a weak conference. They play in a weak conference. I don't see them. I don't feel like they're battle. I don't feel like they're battle tested when it comes to the tourney. I mean, they played Duke early in the year, but other than that, I don't feel like they're battle tested come March. You gotta have that thick skin. I think my champion. I picked Virginia. I feel like 2 years in a row, and I just can't bring myself to do it again. I could see this year. I could see it being. I'm gonna go with a ballsy pick here. But I'm gonna say Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been a team who plays great defense, and when they get their shooters open, they shoot the lights out. And that's those.
Tech to win it all.
Those are the kinds of teams that win in March. So you know what? I just thought of this on the fly, but I'm gonna take Texas Tech as the natty champ. That's all we got for you here for you folks. I'm Kyler Barnett.
Hunter Donelson.
Signing off.